Forgiveness, forgiveness, and forgiveness once again. What's up, 23% Nation? It's Coach D of the 23% Challenge. And guys, today we're back with part 9 of this amazing video series, How to Love Yourself Just a Little Bit More. So without any further delay, let's go ahead and dive right on in. Now, for the past 8 videos, and this officially makes number 9, we've been talking about different ways to improve our level of self-love. And if you notice, I opened up this particular video with the word forgiveness. Now, some of you may be thinking, well, shouldn't forgiveness be a completely different video than self-love? Well, for those of you that are wondering that, I kind of agree with you, but then I kind of don't. But the reason why I do not is that the type of forgiveness that I really want to discuss with you today is called self-forgiveness. So as always, guys, first we're going to address the problem, and then we are most certainly going to talk about the solution. So here's the problem. We don't practice self-forgiveness. I mean, now some of us may not have an issue with asking for forgiveness or forgiving others, but when it comes to person number one, the person that you see in the mirror on a consistent daily basis, there is where we have a true issue. So guys, the problem is that we do not practice self-forgiveness. Instead, we harbor anger and hatred and bitterness towards ourselves, believe it or not. Now, if you're in doubt that you harbor anger and bitterness toward yourself, here's a question or several questions. Have you ever said to yourself, oh my God, I'm so stupid. Oh my God, I can't believe I was that dumb. Or I'm such an idiot, right? So if you've ever called yourself stupid, dumb, an idiot, or maybe you've cursed at yourself for whatever reason, then chances are you or me, because I'm also in the same boat, we're not practicing a very important concept that leads to self-love, which is called self-forgiveness. All right, so a little more about not practicing self-forgiveness. Guys, one of the main reasons why we harbor so much anger and hatred and bitterness towards ourselves is because we very often judge our past. That's right. Sometimes we become hypercritical of our past experiences. You know, sometimes you'll ask a person, well, which do you value more, the experience or the lesson? And people will say, well, of course, I value the lesson, but will very quickly disregard the experience. Well, if you look at it this way, you never would have learned the lesson had you not had the experience. You see? So what we have to understand is that we cannot always be hypercritical of our past and or our experiences. So if we take a look at a few of our experiences, right? I mean, let's talk about relationships. Now, whether this was a sexual relationship, a platonic relationship, some of us may say, my God, I can't believe I had sex with that woman. Or, oh my God, I can't believe I slept with that guy. When it comes to a job, oh, I hated that job. I could think of nothing else I would want to do more. Or when it comes to our health, we look at ourselves in the mirror and we complain about how fat we are. We become angry because we ate that donut or that cheesecake or that slice of pie yesterday when we're supposed to be on a diet. Or after maybe coming back from a doctor's visit, we may realize that our blood pressure may be a little too high, our blood glucose levels or our blood cholesterol levels may be a little bit too high. And then once again, we start to judge ourselves, okay? So now that we know what the problem is, ladies and gentlemen, let's now focus on the very important solution. Get ready because here it comes. All right, solution part 1, okay? First and foremost, we gotta start to forgive ourselves. Once again, we may not have any issues with forgiving others with asking for forgiveness from others. But when it comes to ourselves, we have a whole lot of problems. So guys, the first tip in seeking self-forgiveness, which once again is about self-love, is to learn how to forgive yourself. So now the question is, how do we do that, Coach D? Well, first and foremost, guys, have no regrets. That's right, I said it. Have no regrets. So think about all of the experiences in your life that have shaped the person that you have become today. Now, you probably have a whole bunch of regrets. Why? Because you're judging yourself. Well, today we can start by having zero regrets. And here is something that we also have to understand is that every experience has happened for a reason. Now, I know that may sound a little cliche, but believe it or not, guys, it is true. Every single experience that you have ever had in your life, whether you were 5 years old, 15 years old, 25 years old, you may be 50 years old, and you're still having experiences that for some reason, for some or for whatever reason, it is shaping the person who you are today. So, even if you've been in bad relationships, maybe somebody was unfaithful to you, maybe somebody was violent towards you, or maybe the person just lied to you day in and day out. Or if we think about our jobs, perhaps you were fired, or maybe you didn't get along with your coworkers, or maybe you didn't get along with your boss. Believe it or not, everything that has happened to you in your life has happened for a reason. So in order for us to not have any regrets, in order for us to forgive ourselves, we have to ask ourselves this one question. What lessons can I learn from those experiences? That's all you have to do. And then the second part is you gotta be willing to look at it from a completely different perspective. That's right. And as I've said before, guys, our perspective is one of our biggest assets, along with time, energy, and effort. But in order to understand that everything happens for a reason, we have to understand that things happen for a reason. So if you've been in bad relationships, if you've gotten fired from your job, yes, it's easy for us to point the finger at the other person to see and say what they did and what they didn't do, but it's very difficult for us to ask ourselves the question, how did I contribute to that? Or what did I do in order to cause that? You see, once you're able to change your perspective, then you can begin to learn your lessons. So once again, everything happens for a reason. Why? Because we have lessons to learn. Solution part 2. Okay? Now, I do understand that people come into our lives for a reason, for a season, right? Or maybe for a lifetime. But here's the thing that we have to understand about people entering our lives. Ladies and gentlemen, it's very important that we understand that everyone you meet is a teacher. That's right, guys. One of my personal philosophies is each one, teach one. I got that from KRS-One. Okay? So when we look at the different types of people that are in our lives, right, we have professors, we have teachers, we have girlfriends, we have boyfriends, we have husbands, we have wives, we have police officers, okay? We have supervisors, we have bosses, we have co-workers and colleagues. Think about everybody that is presently in your life. And now think about what type of lessons are they attempting to teach us, and at the same time, consider what type of lessons are we learning from those individuals. Hopefully, these are great lessons. Okay, so once again, in order to start practicing a little more self-love through self-forgiveness, we have to understand that everybody that we come across, whether they're in our lives for a short while or for a long while, that everyone is a teacher, therefore making us a student. Solution part 3. Okay? So now that we understand that people enter into our lives and that we also need to understand that everything happens for a reason, and we also know that we need to start practicing more self-forgiveness, guys, here is something else that's going to help you out just a little bit more. Some lessons are going to be hard and painful, while others will be easy and blissful. So let's take a look at a lesson that could be very hard and painful. Maybe you got robbed and beat up all at the same time. Not a good thing, but yes, it's a horrible lesson. It's a horrible experience. But guys, understand something. Even though this lesson, or shall I say this incident, was very hard and painful, think about the lesson that can be learned. In other words, how did I contribute to that situation? Or on the bright side, maybe you just got a promotion, maybe you got a raise, okay? Or maybe you just got a brand new job that's offering you a higher salary than your last job. Now, most people will view this as something that's easy and blissful, like I do. But once again, we have to look at the experience and be able and be willing to learn a lesson. So, guys, always remember that some lessons are going to be hard and painful, while others will be easy and blissful. Regardless if they're hard or easy or painful or blissful, we have to be able to learn our lessons. And once again, in order to learn the lessons, always ask yourself these two questions. Question number one, how did I contribute to the situation? And question number two, what lesson is there for me to learn right now? Ladies and gentlemen, this is Coach D. I want to thank you for watching. I definitely want to thank you for listening. Always remember, eat well, feel well, think well, do well, and ultimately be well. Now, of course, I have a question of the day. Why? Because me, along with the rest of the 23% Nation guys, we want to know what you are thinking about. What's on that beautiful mind of yours? So here's our question of the day. And when you're ready to answer, just go ahead and write it in the comment section below. Our question of the day is, how can you begin practicing self-forgiveness today? Once again, that question is, how can you begin practicing self-forgiveness starting today? Guys, that's it. This is part 9 of our wonderful video series, How to Love Yourself Just a Little Bit More. I'm Coach D of the 23% Challenge. I believe there's one more video to go. That'll be part 10. So hang on tight because it's definitely coming your way. Take care and God bless.